Hello there, it's Carrie Rhodes here. Welcome back to the Heffy Doodle YouTube channel. In today's video, I am making a real-life inspired card with some texture and interest in ink blending. It's going to be tons of fun. So I have this nutty little stamp set I'm going to be using along with this cute puppy dog set, Who Let the Dogs Out? And I'll be using this Tree-mendous die set for my background as well as that Woodgrain texture, and I will add a lift the flap with this little die right here. We're going to get started with some ink. I have some Salty Ocean Distress Oxide spray. I sprayed it right on my glass mat, wet it with some water, and then I'm going to pick up the ink with my piece of cardstock here. Now this is going to get really like saturated, but what I'm really after is picking up the remaining ink on my mat with a second piece of paper. I love this kind of dreamy look that you get. It's perfect for a sky background and it's quick and easy. I decided I would try my Distress Mica spray stain to do a little of the same thing to create a background I could die cut the tree from. And again, I'm going to use two pieces. One I'm going to set aside and save for something else, and then this one right here I'll use for my tree, and it's going to be a really interesting background that I can add to. I love to get inky and make my own backgrounds like this, and it just sounded like a really fun thing to do today. I'm going to use this stitched A2 sized die to pick out the area and die cut that I want for my background. So there you can see it. It looks very sky-like if I don't say so myself. Okay, on the second background, I'm going to use some Vintage Photo Distress ink and just drag that right on the paper to give it more of a wood grain-like look. And then I wanted to make it still a little bit darker, so I added walnut stain as well. Then I can go ahead and die cut that with the tree trunk from the Tree-mendous die set. And look how cool that looks. I'm going to run this through with the wood grain texture plate, and that's going to add those stitched lines in it. And then I want to also make sure and use this little oval piece to die cut out that flap. So I have a cute little lift the flap in my project. All right, now I have a little finger dauber and I'm adding on some Vintage Photo around the edges here. Actually, I think it's walnut stain, just to give it some more dimension by having the edges darker. And this works really good having a little bit of a blending brush on your finger just to get the edges. I'm loving that. All right, so that will finish up my tree. It's ready to go on my card. But now I would like to make the treetop. So I have some green cardstock here from Heffy Doodle, and I'm adding some double-sided adhesive to it. Then I can die cut that with the tree topper, and I'm going to stick something really fun to it. But I also wanted some grass, so I used the extra negative piece that I cut off and used that to die cut the grass. So now I peeled the top off and I have these two green sticky pieces of paper, and I'm going to add some green flock to them. So I'm just going to sprinkle that on and burnish it in with my finger, and then I have this nice fuzzy little tree trunk. So I just really like, I have like a watercolor look, I have a faux wood grain look on my card, I've got the fuzzy treetop and the fuzzy grass. It's just a lot of like fun visual dimension on my card. And then I've got the fun interactive element because I'll have that lift the flap. So I like to have these extra special things in my handmade cards. So I lied, the tree's not ready to go on because I need something behind my flap to hold the acorns and whatnot that I'm going to put in there. So I used the walnut stain again, and I made it quite a bit darker so it would look like it was back into the tree a little bit. And I glued that in place, and now we can start putting all the things together on the card. So I have my tree trunk, kind of looks like it's floating there, but it's going to have the treetop at the top and the grass at the bottom, and that will really anchor it down. So it'll be looking a lot better here in a second. All right, so there's the treetop, and it is so soft and fuzzy. I just love how it looks. And then the grass also, and that's just going to be glued on so you won't even know that the tree is floating there in the air. I have a few little pieces to trim off and that will finish up kind of my background, setting the scene. But I did want to add a branch. You could leave it like this, but I wanted something for my squirrel to sit on. So I just took that same paper from my tree trunk and cut out the branch. So I trimmed that down. I did add a little ink to it as well, and then added that to the card. And now I have a cute little spot for my squirrel to sit on. So when I said that this card is inspired by real life, my dog, and I'm sure many dogs in this world, go crazy over squirrels. And so I thought it would be really fun to make a card with a dog that looks like my dog, except my dog barely has a tail, and a squirrel. But maybe in this card, these two are friends. And I thought that would be cute. And so I'll show you how I added some "they're really friends" touches to this card as we go. But you can see there I have the cute little pup I'm coloring with my Copic markers, E11 and E13, colored it to look like my dog, who's a cockapoo, and his name is Toby. And I'll give him a little brown nose because that's what color Toby's nose is. And then for the squirrel, I'm going to use E13, and I'm going to add a little touch of red because our squirrels seem to have just a little variation of red in them. And so I'm going to use E13. These colors aren't like really easy to blend together, so I did go over it a few times, but it blended out really good and I liked the look of it. And then I did use the E11 marker for the face and the tummy of the squirrel. And then for my acorns, I'm going to use E13 on the top and E25 on the bottom. And then I thought I would just do blue and green for this little bone that looks like it's wrapped up like a present. This is going to be a present from the squirrel to the dog. And I picked those colors because Toby's blanket is those colors and it matched my background. So all right, I'm going to stick all the things down. You can see here's that tree trunk, and it looks like it really sets back into the tree because that background is darker, and the little bone is hidden in there as a present from the squirrel to the puppy. And now I'm adding paw prints to the tree. So it's like the dog and the squirrel put their paw prints on the tree to, you know, be like BFFs forever. And I'm using some ground espresso distress oxide to stamp over the top of my very inky tree. Isn't that cute? All right, then we're going to add a sentiment. You're nutty, and I love it. I often tell my dog that he is nutty, so this is just perfect. And I'm using some crimson ink and adding the little heart. So the saying is from the squirrel stamp set, and the heart is from this cute little dog set. But you can see there, my sentiment, the letter T is very blurry, and that's because I think the paper was a little warped when I stamped it. So I stamped it again. I drew a little bubble around it, and I'm going to fussy cut this so it kind of looks like it was die cut. And then I'll put that above the dog, and I'm going to cover up one of my hearts. So I just stamped a new one a little higher, and then I'm going to pop my sentiment up with a foam square, and then I will add some little circles. I'm going to draw right on the card, which makes me very nervous because you know, I could mess the whole thing up right here. But there is kind of look like a talk bubble or a thought bubble coming from the dog. I'm adding this to my A2 size card, and you can see it goes edge to edge with my card base. And then as I was going along, I really felt like I needed something there on that left-hand side of the tree. So from the squirrel set, I went ahead and grabbed a little bird feeder and it added another element of red and really helped to complete this card. I love how this turned out, and I think it would just be really cute for a dog and a squirrel to be friends and play together in the backyard. So thank you so much for stopping by Heffy Doodle today. If you would like more inspiration, you can find us on Facebook and Instagram as well. I will see you all again on the next video. Thanks for watching. Bye.